Supreme Court. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Score big on sleep and savings during Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable beds and get a $300 instant gift, good towards pillows and more.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
It looks like former USC star Reggie Bush is willing to make his lawsuit against the NCAA a civil rights issue. At a press conference yesterday at the Coliseum, Bush announced his plans to sue the NCAA for defamation of character. By his side was noted civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who Bush hired to lead his legal team. Crump has a ton of experience with high-profile cases after representing the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Trayvon Martin. Bush said the NCAA made false allegations about him when the organization claimed he had a play-for-pay arrangement at USC from 2002 to 2005. The NCAA stripped Bush of his Heisman Trophy and his collegiate records after learning he had access to improper benefits while at USC. There's a whole lot more to this story. Stay tuned. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot going on today, and you are invited into all of it. I'm Dominique DePrima, welcoming in a philanthropic leader. This is our second try. Apologies to our guest, but so happy to have you on now. She's got over 15 years of experience in the nonprofit sector. She's born and raised in L.A., middle child in a large Nigerian family, a Black woman born to immigrant parents in South Central Los Angeles, who has turned her attention and her creative energy to giving back to the less fortunate, social, entrepreneurial experiences, charitable events, fundraisers, community initiatives. And she's currently Vice President of Community Managing at J.P. Morgan Chase, where she works with nonprofits, community leaders, and schools in Compton, Paramount, Bell Gardens, and more. So nice to meet you, Juliet Udeochu. Good morning.
Oh, that was good. Good morning. Thank you, Dominique. So glad to be with you this morning. Been a fan of you since I was a kid. Like I said, born and raised in L.A. and been listening to you since 92.3 The Beat. So this is
what? Back to street science days. Well, it's
street science. Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Yes. I love that. To me, the social entrepreneurial movement, which really has not gotten as much light as it should in this country. The idea of some of the larger corporations taking a serious look and serious investment in community, and some of our smaller businesses, which actually have as part of their charter a social innovation. To me, it's really, really a good development.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people don't think about that. And I, at that point, before I started actually working with other people to help build their nonprofits, it was just a passion of mine. Like I said, I started working in nonprofit at a very young age. Growing up in a kind of tough area, like I said, I grew up on Crenshaw and Florence. When my parents first came to this country, I grew up in a jungle. So I saw poverty, hardship at a very young age. But then as my parents grew in their career, in their profession, and moved up the socioeconomic statuses, I saw the differences. But what I experienced as a young kid, and coming from Nigeria, going home, seeing poverty, I'm just like, people, especially kids. My mom was an educator, so I'm kind of corny in my, children are the future. So the emphasis in my work is really not just focusing on people, but focusing on kids and people who, my community that looks like me that I experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could do a whole conversation about the Black immigrant experience in South LA. I think it's something that's underreported just because we assume all Black folks are, are not from somewhere else, and all Latino people are. And the reality is neither of those statements are true. But,
right.
You're obviously rooted here in South LA. So tell me how that colors the work that you do as a VP of community managing at J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yeah, it's so important, right? Like I said, I saw not even just my community, myself. Like I said, my parents struggled, and that financial insecurity of just coming to this country and struggling, and telling us about the struggle, right? I think it did two things. I think that it gave us a fear, but it also gave us that yearning to succeed and to make sure that we, me and my siblings, there are 5 of us, that we grow up to be somebody to make our parents proud. However, the talk about money we never had, right? Growing up on Crenshaw and Florence and then moving to Carson and seeing the difference in community, right? And when I grew up, I didn't know about money. I went into debt at a very young age. I struggled for a very young age. And to come out of it now and be on the other side, and now being in this role, and I'm like, if someone came to my high school and they talked to me about this, if someone came to my college and said, on that first week of school, don't sign up for these credit cards.
Right.
Unless you can pay them back, right? I went into debt really, really early, right? No one taught me about that. If someone talked to me about budgeting, savings, I'm in this role with Chase, and every day I'm still learning about budgeting, savings. And I love the fact that I get to be in this community that I grew up in, and I get to be transparent, right? You see me up here, you see me in these suits and these dresses. I don't want you to see me as a woman from Chase. I want you to see me as a little girl from Crenshaw and Florence who has probably been in the same place that you have been, whose parents were on welfare and struggled and were on the bus, but we made it out without this education. I want to give you the tools so you don't have to struggle. I want to let you know that you are supported, right? There's so many misconceptions about banking, and I'm here to answer those questions for you. So it feels good to be, I was in Atlanta for the past 5.5 years, but it feels good to be back in LA, and I get to connect with my community on something that is really transformative.
Right. And you got a great event going on actually right now. We'll talk about that. But before we get into that, one of the community initiatives of Chase is that financial literacy piece. So if people are like you describe your former self, waking up and saying, I got to get this stuff under control, whether it's their business portfolio or their own, personal finances, how can they access these resources?
Yeah, so we have the good thing about us, we're in every, all our communities, right? We have our VP of Community Management. We're hosting events. If you go to Chase's website, Dominique, I don't know if I can give you my information. They can contact me via email, and I can connect you.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Whatever part you're in LA.
If you want
Yeah,
the emails,
okay,
you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'll be able to share that. Like, we host events in the communities. We partner with nonprofits. We have built these community banks that invite our community into the bank, right? I'm meeting people day by day who are in their 40s, and they're like, this is like my first time in the bank.
Wow.
Why? I didn't feel like I was welcome, right? So creating this open spaces, community branches that are welcoming our communities. So we're hosting events there, virtually, at school, churches. We're trying to be all over.
Yeah. So tell me about the partnership with Byron Scott, which is actually going on right now as we speak, right?
Yes, it's kicking off today. So Byron Scott, amazing basketball player, Laker, 3-time NBA champ, Dream Team era? Showtime era. I'm sorry. Did you hear the Byron? Showtime. He's hosting a basketball camp. So, in his retirement, he really understands that it's the people who poured into him that made him the person he is today. And he wants to do that for the next generation. So he is hosting a 3-day basketball camp at Darby Park. And with the partnership with him, we are going in and we're teaching the students financial literacy, right? So it's not just getting the tools to succeed on the court, but it's also getting that information to succeed outside the court. We know that there's a lot of players who go into the league and blow all their money, right? We don't want that to happen. But also we want to let them know that there is life outside of basketball, right? If this doesn't work for you, there's careers in the league. There's careers at the bank. And it's just to have these initial conversations with the students. So it's going to be a great event.
So it says on the flyer, you'll learn shooting and ball handling techniques. You'll learn shooting drills, defensive techniques, how to focus on the court. But you'll also learn financial literacy?
Yeah. You're going to come in on your break, and we're going to have sessions. We're going to talk about setting smart goals, right? And at times when people think about setting goals, people don't think about setting financial goals, right? As you are setting a goal to get for students, let me say, if you're playing basketball, if you're working on, by the end of the semester, I want to be shooting with my left hand, you can set a goal by the end of the semester. I want to save $300 so I can be able to buy my shoes for my next basketball game, right? And what that looks like, how the same process of setting goals. A lot of times people set goals, and with us in our community, we're dreamers, right? I like to say a goal without an action is just a dream.
Right. It's so when I win the lottery. It's when I get a platinum hit. When I go viral. Right. But not. It's not incremental. It's that something sudden is going to happen and change our whole life, which is pretty unusual. I mean, I don't want to crush your dream, but
yeah, it is kind of being realistic as well, right? I thought I was going to be a rapper, okay?
Oh man.
At a young age.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to spit some bars, but if you feel like it.
No, that dream was deferred, and I had to pivot and find out what I was good at, because that rap dream was over.
I gotcha.
So yeah, it's going to be good.
Okay, so anyone can sign. This is for boys and girls, by the way, ages 8 through 17. It's at Darby Park. It starts today, I think, at 3:30. Is that right?
Yes.
Sponsored by Chase, obviously. How can anyone come? Do they need to register? Is it too late? Where are we at with this?
No, I think they still have openings. I just had a conversation. They can scan the QR code. I think they're going to be registering kids there as well. They're going to have lunch provided. I think the serving spoon will be serving lunch for all 3 days.
Okay.
They have a lot of great partners in the community. So what I love about that they're going to have like a parent area, that they're going to have different, all the sponsors you see on the side are going to be there. So as the kids are playing basketball, they're going to have resources for parents as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, so it's actually Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it's today and tomorrow it's 3:30, 7:30, so after school. And then Saturday it's 11 to 4, so it's during the day on Saturday. And those sponsors you said, Doghouse, T-Mobile, Staples, and the California Credit Union, Hyundai, Honda, and of course Chase are all going to be on site. So parents are getting financial literacy while kids are learning basketball, and kids are learning financial literacy on their breaks.
Yeah. We're trying to change it, right? Like the conversation of money is taboo at times. We don't sit at the dinner table and talk to our mom and dad about finances, right? Or our parents don't talk to us about it. So let's start teaching the whole family, the ecosystem, so we can sit down at these dinner tables and we can talk about our saving and our budgeting and credit and, how we're going to build generational wealth and, change the trajectory of our families. It starts with the family. ExpressYourselfSportsMerchandise.com. You can register there, or you can roll up to the actual park, Darby Park in Inglewood, on Thursday. If they miss Thursday, that's it, right? You can't register for just one of the days. You need to be at all three. I think they are. I think he's really flexible. He just wants to, have as many kids come out.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Ms. Udeochu, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. Do you want to give us any contact information or, some kind of website or something?
Yes. Again, Dominique, thank you again. Like I said, a huge fan. So glad to be on the radio with you this morning. Like Ms. DePrima said, you can reach me at Juliet, which is JULIET Udeochu, which is UDEOCHU @chase.com. If you're a organization or a church and you want to learn more about how to have me or someone from my team come in to talk to your group, just feel free to shoot me an email.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you spreading the knowledge, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. It's the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. I'll be joined by Dr. Melina Abdullah the second half of this hour, and we have a special guest in the last hour of the show, Dr. Regina Lark, talking about getting rid of that emotional labor. But you're invited into all of the conversations, 800-920-1580. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where we are amplifying Black and progressive voices around the clock.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Venus for Pubic Hair and Skin is here with the only razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with a patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Visit GilletteVenus.com to learn more about our full regimen of products.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Get up to an additional $1,500 off select major kitchen appliances. And save $100 off select laundry pairs, priced $1,396 or more. Plus, pick up the latest DeWalt PowerStack 20-volt max 5 amp hour battery kit and get a select Bear tool free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. While supplies last.
Support comes from Getty, presenting The Gospel at Colonus, a theatrical event under the stars that reimagines the story of Oedipus. Blending Greek myth with Black spiritual practice, the show follows the blinded Oedipus as he seeks redemption after a lifetime of tragedy. Co-produced by Court Theater, conceived and adapted by Lee Brewer, with music composed by Bob Telson. Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets available now at getty.edu.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you. That's for the real.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
And today is a new holiday that I've just declared. It is Turn Yourself In Thursday. The former president of the United States will be turning himself in Georgia, jail. Yes, jail. The orange man gets closer, as Dr. Malveaux calls him, the orange man. The 45th president of the United States gets closer to having a jumpsuit to match his hair. He said on his own Truth Social that he intends to go to jail on Thursday and surrender himself. Probably in the evening. And he's going to have a mugshot. This is going to be at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta on Rice Street. It's actually known as a really run-down, jacked-up prison, which the Justice Department launched an investigation into last month. So he'll get to go see how the other half lives for a second, although he won't be in a cell or anything like that. He's still negotiating the terms of his surrender, actually, today. Because usually when you go to jail like that, you get searched, and it's not cute. You get a medical screening, you get fingerprinted, and a mug shot. We know he's going to get a mug shot, but we don't know about all the other stuff. The prosecutors have said they want to follow normal practices, but we'll see. I mean, did you see Rudy Giuliani's mugshot? I think it should be a T-shirt. This is interesting, the way that this prosecutor, Fani Willis, is saying, look, you're going to be treated like any other defendant, suspect. Mark Meadows, former White House chief of staff, asked for an extension on when to turn himself in, and Ms. Willis shut it down. Nope, you've had plenty of time. Get your butt in here. Basically, nicely said in legalese. So it's a turn yourself in Thursday. $200,000 bond. That seems pretty low to me for trying to take down our entire democracy. But hey, I'm not an expert on bail. $80,000 of that is for racketeering and $10,000 each for his other 12 counts. He's not going to jail. He's not going into custody. But he has had to agree not to threaten witnesses or communicate with other defendants about the case, as he's done in the past, where he offers to pay people's attorneys or whatever he does to sway them. And, of course, blasting folks on social media is kind of what he does. So, and we're going to see about a court appearance, because typically you would have to appear within 72 hours of turning yourself in. But the other defendants already have been indicted. They already have a bond, so they don't have to go to court. And all of the defendants will be arraigned, apparently, according to DA Fani Willis. the week of September 5th. So exciting times. Now, the DA wants the case to go to trial within 6 months, but that's probably not going to happen. I don't see, I'm not a legal expert, but I read a lot of legal experts and I interview attorneys all the time, and there seems to be a consensus that it's pretty unlikely this will happen before the election. Nevertheless, it's a Turn Yourself In Thursday on KBLA Talk 1580. Here's a question. Did anybody watch the Republican presidential debate last night? Anybody? I can't wait to see what the ratings are. I haven't seen much about that. It is, people are calling it the undercard because Trump didn't show up, and it was basically a bunch of people that nobody knows, or very few people know, or if they do know them, they're not planning to vote for them, taking shots at each other with Vivek Ramaswamy, the guy that was the final straw in taking down Don Lemon at CNN, the guy who is popularly known for saying that Juneteenth is a useless holiday. That guy was basically putting himself forward as the defender of Trump. And as such, he got a lot of airtime, right? He got more time on the mic than anybody because he was trying to be the Trump body double. And succeeding, because pretty much all the other candidates that nobody knows or cares about, even sadly our pathetic former Vice President Pence, were taking shots at him in lieu of Trump, which means he got the most airtime. And I thought it was very telling that Trump praised him after the debate. I'm looking at all of these, and so I guess you could say Ramaswamy won if there was a winner. I think Donald Trump won the debate because everybody was talking about him and bowing down to him, even though he wasn't there. So I think he won. But he praised Ramaswamy. And does that mean that he'll be the vice president? Who knows? It's possible. I've seen a lot of articles breaking down who took what position on what, who said they would support Trump if he was the nominee, who wants a total abortion ban, who doesn't. But I think they're all lying. I mean, honestly, I think, and that might sound like a sweeping statement, but Donald Trump has set prevarication as the new norm for the majority of the GOP, right? Just say whatever you want. I mean, not that that was new for politicians. It's just that the 45th president ramped it up to a new level of misinformation, prevarication, aka lies. And so they're all acting squirrely and kind of saying, well, we want the states to decide we support a 15-week ban, but because they know that that's not a winning issue for them. But just like the Supreme Court, the extreme court lied when they said that they want you to have control at a state level, and now they seem to be doing everything they can to support a national ban on a woman's right to choose and control her own body. That's what the squirrely band of potential vice presidents did on last evening. We're talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah next after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Thursday. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The former Washington State University grad student accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students is waiving his right to a speedy trial. Brian Koberger formally waived his right during a hearing yesterday. The move means the trial won't start on October 2nd as planned and might not happen for years. Koberger also announced his plans to file a motion to take the death penalty off the table if he's convicted. A Howard University student stabbed in a recent attack says he may take legal action against the HBCU and a third-party security firm. The unnamed student and some of his classmates were assaulted by a gang of youths outside a residence hall last week. He was robbed, stabbed, and suffered a concussion. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Score big on sleep and savings during Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable beds and get a $300 instant gift, good towards pillows and more.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
It looks like former USC star Reggie Bush is willing to make his lawsuit against the NCAA a civil rights issue. At a press conference yesterday at the Coliseum, Bush announced his plans to sue the NCAA for defamation of character. By his side was noted civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who Bush hired to lead his legal team. Crump has a ton of experience with high-profile cases after representing the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Trayvon Martin. Bush said the NCAA made false allegations about him when the organization claimed he had a play-for-pay arrangement at USC from 2002 to 2005. The NCAA stripped Bush of his Heisman Trophy and his collegiate records after learning he had access to improper benefits while at USC. There's a whole lot more to this story. Stay tuned. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
The other talk stations?
All day, all night, all white.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we sound like the city looks. Now celebrating 2 years of amplifying black and progressive voices. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. See store for details.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
It is, and I'm glad you're here. Today's episode of First Things First is brought to you by Wealth Management Financial Advisors. They can help you with your taxes, whether you are a small business or an individual looking to get your financial life on track. Reach out to Wealth Management Financial Advisors, wealthmanagementlb.com. That's wealthmanagementlb.com. Happy to welcome in this morning my friend. She is the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, lead organizer with BLM Los Angeles, and a professor at Cal State LA, also a mom. Good morning, Dr. Melina Abdullah.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. We got a lot of police news this morning. Starting, of course, with what happened yesterday in the LA City Council, where the council voted 12-3 to massive raises for the Los Angeles Police Department. It's 4 years with a pay increase every year, what they call retention bonuses and other incentives that they say are meant to help make officers join the LAPD and then stay. And this is altogether looks like could add up to about $1 billion over the next 4 years. I know you are down there at the council, and you and others spoke out against this. Describe what happened.
Sure. So these massive raises for LAPD are coming at a time when a couple of things are happening. One, real workers are fighting just for livable wages. I think about the hotel and restaurant workers who on average earn less than $35,000 a year. I think about the SAG-AFTRA folks who don't want to be replaced by AI and are earning on average about $30,000 a year, right? So, Denzel and others are not the norm for actors. I think about also city workers like SEIU 721 who had to go out on a one-day strike just to get livable wages. And now what we're seeing with these raises will bring the minimum wage, the starting salary for an LAPD officer to $97,000 a year to start. That is more than I make as a tenured professor with a PhD who's been on the job for 21 years. The starting salary for an LAPD officer will now be $97,000. Of course, the LA Police Protective League, which I call organized crime, which other people call, what do you call it, Dominique?
I call them cartels.
Cartels, right, have bullied and bribed their way into getting our elected officials to just allow them to get whatever they want. And $97,000 starting salary is what they wanted along with these bonuses. And what that means is we don't have money for the things that actually keep us safe or for the people who do the real work in the city of Los Angeles. It'll initially cost taxpayers, that's you and me, $1 billion. But when you think about contracts with workers, the projection is it'll cost somewhere between $400 and $500 million extra dollars a year. That's on top of the $3.7 billion allocation that LAPD already gets. So again, it's stealing money away from intervention workers, from grid workers, from many, many others who actually do the work of keeping the city safe. There were 3 city council members who were courageous enough to stand up to the LA Police Protective League, Ionesis Hernandez, Hugo Soto Martinez, and Nitya Raman. And I'm naming them because we often hold electeds accountable and saying they're doing wrong, but these 3 did right. And so we have to uplift them for being courageous and doing the right thing and standing for the people, not the narrow interests of the LA Police Protective League.
Well, our African-American council members did vote for this package. And I know that you're critical of them, and I'm critical of them for that. But at the same time, I think there's a recognition, at least from me, that they are feeling torn between, do we support, the mayor's agenda here, what she's put forth, or do we support what we perceive or what we know to be in the best interest of the majority of Black folks, the majority of Angelenos?
Right. And, I've had offline conversations with many of them, and they said we have to support the mayor. And I think, Black Los Angeles feels torn, right? That we're very happy that Karen Bass is there. And many of us love her and respect her. And I think, it's difficult sometimes when people who you love and respect are doing wrong, but I feel like it's our obligation to tell the truth and say, this is not what we said we wanted, and it's not what benefits, especially Black people in Los Angeles. LAPD is also on a record high of police killings and shootings. They've shot 20 people so far this year. 13 of those victims are Black. And so the only correlation, and here's my data hat, right? The only correlation that we see is that when you spend more money on police, violence goes up. Police violence goes up. Crime is down. All of these other things are in check. But when you spend more on police, their violence against the Black community actually goes up. And so we have to lovingly say to Karen Bass, look, the people's budget was clear. Black Los Angeles is clear. We don't want to spend more money on police. And I know that the Black members of City Council wanted to support her, but we need them to support us. And we need them to also lovingly call her in and say, this is not what we need. In fact, the LA Police Protective League spent $4 million to get her not elected.
I mean, it makes you wonder. I mean, we don't know what we don't know, but I can only imagine those negotiations. What? So they spent $4 million to support her opponent, and some really horrible ads, just defamatory, disgusting ads. And it makes you wonder, like, how, what? It's almost like a looming threat. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that to make an excuse, but it certainly makes it seem like, the mayor's options are limited in some ways.
Yeah, well, yes, and she's the mayor, right? And she won even though they spent $4 million against her. Don't pick up the agenda of your opponent. This contract sounds like one that Rick Caruso would sign off on, not one that we expected Karen Bass to sign off.
It'd be interesting to see if they spend another $4 million to keep her from being reelected. Anyway, it's you mentioned 20 shootings this year, but 14 of those are fatal, right?
14 of those, 13 of them plus a taser death. Killed our people. So there's 14 deaths, yes.
And how does that compare to other years?
It's the highest year on record. So year to date, it's the highest year on record. The record for a year, the number of killings in a particular year, since we've been collecting data, is 22 killings in a year. Year to date, when we're looking at, we're only in August, we got 4 months to go. Killing 14 people is the highest year on record. And again, we have this police chief, Michael Moore, who continues to excuse these killings and justify each of them. We know that the majority, the plurality of these killings were of those who were in mental health crisis. So we're glad that they passed a pilot program for unarmed response to mental health crises, but that needs to go in. It's a state of emergency now, right?
Yeah.
Where we can't be killing people. There's a sister named Loretta Young who has a 4-year-old child in the Valley. They killed her. She was supposedly armed with a piece of metal. that's not arming, right? They could have easily dealt with it differently. If it were non-police, they would have been able to talk her down. I think about Takar Smith, who was in his own home, in his own kitchen, and they allege he was armed with a kitchen knife. Well, I have a kitchen knife in my kitchen too, right? So we need police to not be responding to mental health crises. This is the highest year on record for police killings so far.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on the shooting in Orange County. They're now saying it was a former officer that did that. And this internal affairs investigation into the Mission Division gang enforcement detail. A lot going on around here. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
I'm David Goldberg, a bilingual elementary school teacher and president of the California Teachers Association. As we start a new school year, there's something new happening in California's public schools. They're called community schools, where families, students, educators, and communities are making decisions as one.
As a parent, I feel like we're really valued as partners in the education system.
Community schools are bridging the systems of academics with the community.
The curriculum is designed around the students and their academic needs.
I know community schools are working. We see it in parent involvement. We see it in student academics.
We saw double-digit gains in math, English, and reading scores.
It's a more innovative, holistic approach to educating students.
I really feel like this is the first time that we're really seeing a system change in our school.
It's innovative, fresh, and they're already working.
We invite you to learn more about community schools as we come together to reimagine public education here in California. And that's why CTA brought you this message.
When it comes to special needs educational and health resources, Special Needs Network has you covered. On Saturday, August 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Jane Addams Park in Lawndale, Special Needs Network and California Assemblywoman Tina McKinnon invite you and your entire family for a fun-filled day at a back-to-school and health fair, featuring music, live performances, exhibitions from your favorite professional LA sports teams, a petting zoo, pony rides, a kids zone, and professional haircuts for kids and teens. Get critical early identification and intervention resources, health and dental screenings, bags of fresh fruits and vegetables, and an opportunity to win fantastic prizes, free backpacks and school supplies while they last for students, and a chance to win a free cell phone or tablet from TrueConnect with an EBT card. Visit SNNLA.org or on Facebook or Instagram at Special Needs Network.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, I'm going to try to squeeze everything in. Dr. Melina, Abdullah, I got questions for you this morning, and I want to remind folks this is Not a Drill. It's her show, 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays every single week on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about the $1 billion worth of raises and bonuses that the LA City Council just awarded, or I guess voted on, for the LAPD. Also, a terrible mass shooting in Orange County at a biker bar. 4 people dead, 6 people wounded. And they are saying the gunman who was also killed is a former officer. I mean, I don't know what you can really say about this, but I thought I would ask because it's just, we have so many mass shootings now. It's almost like I'm tempted to just skip over them because I don't know what to say about them anymore. But at the same time, it's kind of it's our job to cover them as well.
Yeah, I think that it's also coming to light that this might have been a situation of ongoing domestic violence. And we know that police have one of the highest rates of domestic violence of any profession. So it reminds us that policing is an inherently violent profession, and that many of them are unable to even control themselves domestically. So I'm not surprised that it seems that the mass shooter is a former officer. It seems like they're doing all they can to minimize that and what role that might have played. And then there's a lot trying to humanize the perpetrator, which doesn't happen usually when you talk about, even Black people don't tend to commit mass shootings, but when you talk about Black people who are accused of crimes, they do everything they can to dehumanize. But there seems to be an effort to humanize the person who carried out this terrible mass shooting. And of course, we pray for everyone who was there, and that the survivors continue to survive.
Yeah, apparently he's retired from the Ventura Police Department, and they're saying this was a bar his estranged wife used to go to. So he may have been looking to kill her, actually. Internal Affairs, also another situation in the Valley, apparently searching the lockers of police there. They don't say what they're looking for. It was the gang unit, I guess, at the Mission Division in San Fernando Valley. Internal Affairs served warrants, searched lockers, which is something they rarely, if ever, do. They did not say what they were looking for, nor was it made known if they took anything out. But they did confirm that there is an investigation going on at this time by Internal Affairs within the LAPD.
Right. And what we know is what Black community has always known, that they, especially gang units, harass and use illegal methods to accuse us of crimes when often they're committing crimes in the process. We know they've been turning off their body cams when they stop people, especially Black and brown people. We know that this also aligns with what Kevin Mejia, our city controller, revealed last week, that LAPD is stopping Black people at 3 to 4 times our population share, even though we're less likely to have committed a crime or have any contraband in the car. And so what we're seeing is this gang unit be very much like the sheriff's department deputy gangs, in that they're operating illegally and unjustly, targeting Black, brown, and poor people for crime, and labeling them gang members when they often just live in neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods. And so we should all be paying attention to what comes out from that investigation. Yeah. Also, we should honor and hold as true what community voices say about how police operate in our neighborhood.
Yep. And that particular unit, 10% of their traffic stops were considered pretextual. Fishing expeditions. In other words, when we come forward, Dr. Melina, Abdullah, I want to get your calls to action. Won't have time for all the other things, but Stop Cop City and calls to action next when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Find a righteous rage, and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, my goodness. You're going to have to come back. I'm going to have to lure you back soon, Dr. Melina Abdullah, because I want to ask you about the new police commission president. I want to ask you about this situation with the ethics committee and Controller Mejia's selection there. I want to ask you about Stop Cop City. But with 3 minutes to go before the top of the hour, I guess it's calls to action.
Sure, calls to action are this. With the new police contract going through, we got to turn to community. Community has always been the answer. And so we got to educate our people about why even a $97,000 starting salary shouldn't be enough to get you to recruit you into the most murderous police department in the entire nation. So we're saying don't be a cop. Don't be a cop. Educate our young people that we don't want them to be cops no matter what the salary is. So that's the campaign that we're pushing. Don't be a cop. We got to tell community, don't be a cop. We also want people to be paying attention to what's happening in Atlanta. They're using voter suppression to try to minimize the 104,000 signatures that folks got down there to stop Cop City. And so please pay attention, because these same voter suppression methods, they're using something called signature verification, signature matching technology to throw out many of the signatures of those who said that the massive Cop City project should be placed on the ballot. They're going to be using these same technologies to try to suppress voters and the desire of voters in the upcoming elections. And then we're also asking everybody to come out and stand up to the LA Police Protective League every Wednesday, 4 p.m. at 1313 West 8th Street. Every Wednesday, 4 p.m., 1313 West 8th Street. And finally, follow BLM Grassroots on all social media for updates on what's happening in Los Angeles and Georgia and all around the country. That, again, is BLM Grassroots. For LA, it's BLMLA on what used to be Twitter, and BLM Los Angeles on Instagram.
You got a minute, Dr. Abdullah. What do you want to put in our brains this morning?
I just want to say that what happened with this contract is a definite setback, but it's also not a defeat, that the people will win. And so that just means we have to be as organized as we can. So let's hold our elected officials accountable and say they shouldn't be beholden to police special interests. They should be beholden to the people. Let's make those calls to our city council members and to our mayor and say that we want deep investments in community for housing, mental health resources, and good jobs, not more money on police.
Dr. Melina Abdullah, thank you so much for being with us. And folks, don't forget, she will be on the mic 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday, every Saturday. This is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Thursday. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. That happened for years. Koberger also announced his plans to file a motion to take the death penalty off the